Before we start, do me a quick favor and leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Now, let's get moving. What's up guys, I got the pencil here, and yes, you read that title, and you better believe it. We have the two pinnacles of light from their respective series, those who guide the world to a better era and protect it from those in the darkness. Two of the strongest warriors from their respective worlds shall now do battle. We have the son of the fourth, reincarnation of Asura, and Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, Naruto Uzumaki, versus the Prince of Destiny Island, the mighty guardian of light, and the recreator of creation, Sora. Let's begin with their respective power. Naruto is a verse that is ever expanding, contracting, and morphing in terms of all of its battle facets, but power is a big one. We'll be using a Naruto that has all of his feats, all the way up to Boruto, though I will be using images from Teen Naruto simply because I prefer that design. Naruto is universal, possibly universal plus, simply put. This comes from him at a weaker state than his current one, being able to deal damage to and basically survive Kaguya, who made dimensions parallel to the regular Naruto universe. And in the translations, due to the presence of stars in the dimensions, the usage of the world does not mean something like planet, and it cannot mean society as the dimension lacks one, so the usage of Sekai refers to the universe. Naruto is able to damage her and even outpower her for a moment with boiler release amps, and of course Hokage Naruto is stronger than his past self due to training up through his tenure as Hokage and the addition of the other half of the Nine Tails. How much stronger? Well, it depends on whether or not you believe Hokage Naruto surpassed Kaguya based on how he scales to a fused Momoshiki, who is an evolved version of base Momoshiki, who Kaguya was afraid of. However, Momoshiki versus Kaguya is a debate I do not want to tackle for here, and right now, for fear of losing the point of the video, so I'll just back up Universal Naruto with the idea that Momoshiki, before fusing, has a scan of him creating a time space with Redshift Nebula, basically creating a universe, and of course, adult Hokage Naruto at half his true chakra level, alongside Sasuke, is able to slap around a fused Momoshiki, both controlling the battle very well, so Universal Naruto would be consistent. You want to give Naruto a high end? Okay, then you could argue that all the dimensions were made by Kaguya are parallel to the main one, so they are all universe-sized, and then you could argue that Kaguya made them all at once. The only real argument against this would be the idea that the expansive truth-seeking ball was only going to destroy one time space, not all of them, and that was her strongest attack. But then its potency versus destructive capacity again, and of course, according to Zetsu, upon starting the Eternal Truth-Seeking Ball, she starts getting exponentially stronger, and Naruto doesn't die immediately, so there you go, Multiversal Naruto. Moving to Sora's level of power, it's also evolving, wildly, like insanely. Not in game, just scaling wise, Sora is likely multiversal at a mid-end. This comes from how well he scales the Keyblade Xehanort, or X-Blade Xehanort, however you want to call him, and how Keyblade Xehanort scales to the verse. For explanation, worlds are strange entities within the Kingdom Hearts universe, and strange entities in the Versus community at large. A lot of people typically downplay them to be just planet size, but this doesn't really make any sense. Each world in of itself has its own star system and respective sun. Ironically enough, even solar systems for each world does not make any sense either. Once again, the worlds, even Skylight Kylum, a world beyond the traditional scope of the worlds in the realm of light due to existing in a vacuum formed by the Guardians of Light, meaning that it exists outside the realm of light completely, still has its own star system. So it wouldn't make sense for it to just be its own little solar system. What would be interpreted as a proper size for the worlds in Kingdom Hearts would actually be universes. Each world has its own sky star system, which does not appear to mimic the world between, so they contain multiple stars if not galaxies depending on how you want to interpret it. This is the case for even sealed off worlds such as Skylight Kylum, like I mentioned before. Then there's the Grand Councilwoman, who is said to govern over the universe, but that can only mean her own world, deep space. This is because the only way to travel between worlds in the time of birth by sleep would be the lanes between, which can only be accessed by Keyblade wielders and their allies, and the Grand Councilwoman is not one of them, so it's likely her world is universe-sized. Then, in Japanese, the word Sekai refers to planet, society, or universe. Society makes no sense, and planet doesn't make much sense due to the presence of unique star systems within the worlds, so that leaves the universe, which lines up with all the other evidence. The finishing touch would be the idea that each world runs on its own unique time flow, and there are spaces between worlds, making each world its own unique time space, their own universes. And there are countless worlds within the realm of light. And the realm of darkness runs parallel to the realm of light, being born of the darkness within people's hearts. Then there are spaces within these realms which are described as endless, such as the end of the world, which is described as an endless abyss, and Nomura himself implying that Castle of Dreams is an endless area only limited by game mechanics. So within these already endless realms regarding the realm of light and realm of darkness, there are endless realms within those endless realms. And there are countless worlds which are actually countless universes. So what was all that for? Simply put, the Keyblade wielded by Xehanort directly gives the old master direct access and control to the full power of Kingdom Hearts, which is the thing that created all the worlds, both realms, everything. And Sora fought that Xehanort and won. Yes, he did have help from Donald and Goofy, but still, Sora fought and defeated a person who wielded the power of an entire multiverse. So, for a low end, Sora's universal if you just want to really downplay the Kingdom Hearts world and its size. For a mid end, Sora's multiversal. For a high end, Sora, being a higher dimensional being capable of creating the Keyblade and defeating the power of Kingdom Hearts, he's multiversal plus. Let's move on to speed. Speed in Naruto is also a mess. However, here at That Guy with the Pencil, we give respect to all. So assuming light speed starts around Haku/Mifune tiers of power based off their light speed statements and the idea that they were multiplied up to 3 times Kakashi's chakra with the Ninetales cloak, who is relative to them, and this is only a fraction of the Ninetales power, and that there were thousands of shinobi within the remaining shinobi alliance when Naruto shared his chakra, and since we're assuming that Naruto kept at least half of his Ninetales chakra, then we would double that for his speed and then double it again for the other half of Kurama, then basically quadruple it with 6-pass Sage mode, and then multiply unquantifiably more 4 years of training. Simply put, that's massively faster than light, plus easily going far into the low billions based on how much you want to multiply his speed if we use Kakashi as our light speed standard. Naruto is dangerously fast. For Sora's speed, lowballed he's massively fast in light, scaling to Monstro, who outpaces gummy ships that travel between lowballed solar systems, likely between universes, and he scales Aventus, who's able to dodge Stitch's cruiser while it was in hyperdrive, and it also traverses solar systems. Given actual respect, Sora has inaccessible speed, via being able to fight and move within the realm of darkness, a place with no time at all, meaning he literally breaks the speed equation by moving where he should not be able to move. He scales rather high in terms of inaccessible speed, being faster than other characters such as Aqua, King Mickey, and Riku, who can also move casually within the realm of darkness and fight within it. Let's move on to their respective abilities. Naruto has a very simple yet very potent moveset. He has the base Rasengan, all its variants which include the Rasen Shuriken and its variants, the Sealing Rasengan, Summoning Jutsu, all the powers of the Tailed Beast including an amp like Boil Release, and he has access to Sage Energy or Natural Energy along with the Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu on top of the Truth Seeking Balls, which are composed of all 5 nature transformations and are able to turn people to dust, block attacks, and transform into things like platforms and such. Sora also has control over magic from water spells, fire spells, air spells, healing through cure spells, the ability to manipulate aura with flow motion, the ability to transform into massively more powerful states depending on the Keyblade he's wielding, such as the ultimate form, which gives him access to teleportation and stronger versions of all his earlier spells, and the ability to break through resistances using the ability of all of his transformations, which is Guard Breaker. Magic and chakra will be equalized here just for simplicity's sake. We're going to equalize the energy because that's more fun. Now, here's where we hit a massive issue. Off the start, Sora is way too fast for Naruto when both are given their due diligence and respect. Even if you want to use a highball Naruto, he does not have anything that gets him to the inaccessible speed tier that Sora resides in. Then, of course, there's the issue of power. While it's possible to get Naruto to multiversal on a high end by scaling the Kaguya, unless I'm mistaken, it's never implied that Kaguya made an actual multiverse. She made some parallel dimensions. And that level of multiversal, which would likely be low multiversal, would be drastically outclassed by Sora. This comes from the fact that there are stated to be countless worlds multiple times within the realm of light alone, not to talk of the realm of darkness, both containing endless realms within them, meaning that Sora would actually be solidly multiversal on a regular scale. So Sora blitzes and outdoes Naruto in basically every single level. Even with all of Naruto's hacks, they do not mean much before Sora, since Naruto will not be able to use any of them. Naruto can spam clones all he wants, even if he can make the hand signs in time to do so, but just like with Kaguya, the clones will be slapped away out of existence with no difficulty, just like Naruto would be. And if need be, Sora can just transform into any of his forms and surpass all of Naruto's resistances to the elements if he's not in the mood to beat Naruto to death, which he's typically fine with. And despite the popular belief, Sora will just attack and defeat without hesitation. He's fought Ansem, Xemnas, murdered the entire organization for the most part, and Xehanort, all for the kill. He just doesn't care. So Naruto doesn't have a real chance of taking advantage of any of Sora's niceties. He's a nice guy, but he'll still kill you if he's in a fight with you. So there's just not much Naruto can do. Naruto's summonings are pointless if he can even get them off, since they're drastically weaker than him, not to talk of Sora. And even with Boil Release, it's unlikely Naruto can clear the entire speed tier and countless levels of power above him. I don't really see a way for Naruto to win, and that's the main issue. The power and speed is the biggest divider for this battle, because if Naruto can't clear that, he just can't do anything. He was close to Kaguya in their initial fight, even though that's honestly debatable considering Kaguya wasn't trying to kill them for the most part throughout the majority of that fight. She was just wanting to get their chakra until she actually decided to try and kill them when they all had to get extra on guard. But then when you look at Sora and the reasoning that he would have no reason to hold back against Naruto if in a fight with him, Naruto kind of just gets annihilated. Like, it's not a pretty thing to talk about, but that's how it would go, because Sora doesn't hold back. Naruto would just be standing there, and likely Sora would attack him, bisect him, and kill Naruto before Naruto even understood what happened. And that's the thing. Sora would have no problem killing Naruto, because he can kill Heartless and nobodies, beings that don't exist, and beings that literally are immortal. But with the Keyblade, he can just kill them anyway. He can completely negate their immortality, so there's nothing that Naruto can really do. For an equal stats battle, I mean, it gets a lot more interesting, because then I can say Naruto could actually pretty solidly take that, because he has clone spam, once again, clone spam, he has sealing with his specific Rasen Shurikens and Rasengans, he has the boil release. Actually, no, boil release would be banned in equal stats because it amps stats, but basically, Sora's getting jumped. Now, Sora can seal away things, like he can lock away techniques using the Keyblade, but I'm not sure if that's the thing, we've seen Keyblade wielders do that, like the Lingering Will has been able to seal away Sora's techniques and options, but we haven't seen Sora himself do it, so that may be a specific magical ability left to only certain Keyblade wielders and not a general one, so we can't fully rely on that. And the only, like, the big red button that Sora has to hit if he truly needs to defeat Naruto in equal stats battle is the power of waking, because Naruto can't really beat causality manipulation. He's never resisted that before. So even in an equal stats battle, it's likely Sora, if pushed to the brink, which he very likely would be in an equal stats battle, considering all of his advantages, his main advantages in power and speed are gone. So he's really going to be dealing with a pretty haxed character sitting right there. He would probably just have to rewrite the timeline, so either Naruto didn't exist or he would be way stronger than Naruto. He would have to manipulate it to win, which is sad, but it's still a win condition. So it's likely that I'd say 10 out of 10 times it goes to Sora unequalized, because Sora's just so much drastically stronger and way more powerful, even if you highball Naruto beyond belief. But in terms of equal stats, I'd say it's a good 50-50. If Naruto can, like, kill Sora, like prevent him from coming back, period, then he goes to him. But the moment Sora realizes he's outmatched in terms of abilities, it's very, very likely that he is just going to be like, well, power of waking time, and then just rewrite the timeline to as he sees fits. And I'm not sure how Naruto can stop that one. If you guys in the comment section down below can figure out a way for Naruto to stop that, I want to hear it. I feel like it'd be interesting to see. But that's really all I have today, because this is a very simple fight. Honestly, there are earlier variations of Sora that would do better in an unequalized battle against Naruto, because when you think about it, they have some better hacks like time stop, sleep induction. Like there's so many better hacks that earlier versions of Sora has, but Sora doesn't have access to because he forgot them due to the game leveling system. However, there is a character that has all the same of their old hacks, and he'll be fighting Naruto's opposite soon enough. But that's all I'm gonna say. It's Riku versus Sasuke. You're getting that soon. Maybe not this month, but I really want to do that battle too. So we'll be talking about that at another day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.